Firstly, do you have any sense of what this executive order ultimately will contain? And what's your response to the president's decision to do this? Because I believe that you wanted this to be part of a broader package on an immigration deal.
Yeah, we need to make it a priority to keep families together. As a father, I would always fight to keep my kids with me and never be separated. We have that amendment as part of this compromise bill that will be on the floor tomorrow. And I also believe that executive orders, whether it's the previous president or this president, it is Congress that is tasked with actually creating new laws. And so I appreciate that this is an emergency situation and that he is reacting to it. But ultimately, I think Congress has to do its job.
So you're saying that the executive order is the wrong decision at this moment on this isolated situation?
No, I'm waiting to see what the president comes out with, and certainly it's his prerogative to address the issue immediately. But we also have the ability to correct this in law, which we're going to do tomorrow.
And how are you going to do it tomorrow? Walk us through, because there are a number of different bills here that are up for discussion that are both Republican introduced, Democratic introduced on both houses of Congress. So what looks most likely to actually get done at this point?
Right now, we have been putting votes together on the compromise bill, the bill that the president supports that has not only the 4 pillars in it, but it is an immediate fix for our dreamers. The kids that have come here to no fault of their own, 1.8 million of them will be protected from day one, but also have a long pathway and a wait in line, working, going to school to ultimately get citizenship. We also have to secure our border, and that's a big piece of this package as well.
And sir, does that compromise bill have the votes to get through?
That's what we're doing now. So we put the bill in print on Friday. Members have had the weekend to read the bill. Now we're putting the votes together, but right now it looks very promising.
What happens if it doesn't pass? What's the plan B here? Will you go back to the discharge petition? What's the plan?
We are going to reserve all parliamentary procedures to be able to push this issue forward. We're not backing down. Ultimately, we've got to have an American solution.
You were at a meeting with the House Republicans and the president last night. What does he prefer? Does he like the compromise version, or do you think he wants something that's a little bit more conservative, a little bit more tough here?
He showed unwavering support for this compromise bill. We had worked with the Department of Homeland Security on this bill. We have many of the same provisions on border security. It is a bill that he supports, and it's a bill we're going to put the votes together on.
Congressman, what about the kids who have already been separated, right? Because we're hearing now stories that not only are they detained there at the border in somewhat close proximity, perhaps, to their families, but they've been sent to other states entirely. There are even reports that some of them have ended up here in New York. How do you go about reuniting them? And will the U.S. government now be responsible for these kids? Will they eventually be lost in the system and never reunited?
Certainly it's a challenge at our southern border in particular. When kids come unaccompanied minors, this is not a new issue. It happens every summer. It happened in much bigger numbers under the previous administration. But yes, with a 72-hour hold, they ultimately get a bus ticket, get a bus or an airplane ride to a different state where they're actually held until they can go into a foster home or be with another family member.
How damaging?
That's current law.
Congressman, how damaging has this been for the GOP? I mean, the images that we've seen of clearly distressed children, separated children, have been quite painful for people on both sides of the aisle. As you mentioned earlier, you're a father too. I'm sure it's been uncomfortable for you to watch. Has this been damaging for votes as we head towards the midterms?
Yeah, certainly the images are horrific. It's an image that's difficult for any parent or any individual to see, which is why we've got to have a fix to this. I am looking to make law, not a political statement, which is why I think that both parties should come together on this.